I'm Sandy Laycox, Editor-in-Chief of Leader's Edge. Continuing our series with AXA XL, today I'm with Bob Peretti, Chief Distribution Officer for the Americas. Bob shares AXA XL's payer-to-partner strategy and how it applies in this world of ever-increasing risk. We talk new technology, consolidation, and virtual meetings. I hope you enjoy it. Bob, it's so great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining me. Very excited to get into a conversation around AXA XL's distribution strategy and some interesting systemic risks that you guys are working through. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing I'd like to ask you about is AXA XL's payer-to-partner strategy. We'll see this come up in our conversation many times, but just give us a brief introduction of what that strategy is all about.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Sandy. I appreciate being here with you today. And let me explain a little bit about payer-to-partner. Payer-to-partner is an aspirational strategy that's been articulated by the AXA Group CEO, Thomas Burbel. And what it really is getting towards is that we want to be more than a payer of claims for our brokers and clients. We want to continue to provide meaningful insurance solutions, of course, and we certainly want to continue to pay our claims, but we want to move beyond the transactional elements of the insurance renewal process, and we really want to develop true partnerships with our brokers and our clients, and in that way, moving our whole organization and the mindset of our organization from simply a payer of claims and a counterparty in a contract to a partnership. So I look forward to maybe sharing some examples of that through our conversation.
Absolutely. And we will definitely see how that plays out as we get into some of these systemic risks that we're going to talk about. Before we go there, I do want to ask you a question about consolidation. As you know, we've seen a lot of brokerage consolidation happening in the market, and I'd love to hear how that affects how you all are working with brokers.
Sure. And the first thing I would say about that is, AXA XL has been there ourselves, right? We've made acquisitions. We were acquired by the AXA Group back in 2018. So this is a topic that we're not only observing but we're experiencing ourselves, right? So it is the consolidation in the brokerage space is caused a lot of dislocations, a lot of changing client relationships, a lot of talent movement, creation of new brokers. I mean, there are a lot of offshoots of this phenomena, but I'd also want to say that it isn't a new trend. I mean, it seems to be something that comes in waves, and as we're preparing, and as many brokers and insurers are preparing to go to the Insurance Leadership Forum CIB meeting, I've looked back at some agendas from years ago, and the roster of who we meet with has changed dramatically because so many brokers have merged or been acquired. So I think the keys to dealing with the consolidation are staying agile, like being flexible, proactive communication, making sure that as these consolidations are occurring and the offshoots of those consolidations, whether it be brokers moving or clients changing their brokerage relationships, to be proactive with communication. And something that we've done, not directly in response to market broker consolidation, but just because we thought it was a good thing to do and is helping us through this broker consolidation, is our new structure of operating, our new operating model of about a year ago. We've organized our company in the U.S. Into a zonal structure, right? So we have three zones in the United States: East, Central, and West. And the reason we organized in this fashion was to improve our local execution, to get to know our brokers and clients in those zones more intimately. And by doing that, that's really been helping us deal with all the broker consolidation that we've seen.
You did mention looking forward to going to CIAB's annual event, and which is going to be held in person this year. And obviously, we've faced lots of changes with COVID and everybody having to go working virtually because of that and meeting virtually. Um, and you've mentioned the success that you all have had in doing that and have questioned the need for whether or not we need to meet as much in person as we did before. So I'd love to hear sort of your thoughts on the future of client relationships, how business is going to get done.
Virtual engagement is not a exact or perfect replacement for in-person engagement. But as I just said, it 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 enables, I think, more frequent, more consistent, more disciplined engagements with brokers and clients. And you mentioned the example of CIB. Last year when the CIB meeting was moved from an in-person event to a virtual event, we conducted a virtual CIB campaign, and we had 25 incredibly well organized, very well prepared for, and very productive meetings with our key broker partners. And not only were the meetings themselves very productive, the follow-up that we were able to manage coming out of those virtual meetings, I thought was really efficient. Whatever we agreed that we would do following the meetings was noted, and it was accomplished. And we don't always capture, I think, all the follow-up steps when we meet in person. Having said all that, we are looking forward to getting to be meeting with our brokers and clients in person. But I think that the whole industry has learned that a lot can be accomplished virtually. And I hope that we'll continue to use the tools to maintain the very frequent and disciplined interactions on a virtual basis, and introduce or reintroduce in-person meetings as the situation out there permits.
Obviously, COVID is an example of a very complex risk that we've all been dealing with. There are others, cyber, climate change, even more that we're being faced with as time goes on. And they pose complicated questions for insurers regarding how do you truly cover these complicated risks effectively. So how do you view the market handling these types of risks going forward? And any specifics, any examples you have of work that you're doing in any of these areas, I'd love to hear.
We have something that we call the ecosystem, and our ecosystem is to identify and really curate emerging technologies that our clients, that might be helpful to our clients in helping them manage a variety of types of risks, right? That may or may not be best handled by just an insurance transaction, right, or insurance policy. An example I would give of this is a company called Pillar, which is involved in providing remote information, or providing information remotely about the atmospheric conditions of a specific property. And we've introduced this to some of our construction clients, and it's been super helpful to them in being able to monitor the atmospheric conditions of a construction site remotely. So, if the temperature were to drop below freezing when no one was at the site, this technology would alert the customer, and some action could be taken. And it also monitors things like the particles in the air, and the noise, things like that. So that's just one example. But what we really want to do is we want to bring all of our internal knowledge, data, insights, engineering, but we don't want to limit it to just the knowledge and data and insights and technologies that we have available. We want to um, bring forward technologies that others may have developed, that our clients would benefit from. So, I would say that the ecosystem, and particularly what we've done with our construction customers, has been, that's a particular example of how we're trying to deal with some of the more complex risks that have occurred.
Do you all use these tools and these tech partners for um, helping with underwriting, or is it more of just a helping with the risk management?
I think the answer to that question is both, right? That we think that by using these various technologies, it has sort of a two-pronged, impact. One is that it does help our clients minimize and reduce their total cost of risk, and it also makes them a better risk for us to insure.
So we've talked about a few of these systemic risks, and I just want to hear from you if you've got some top, two or three client risks that you're seeing that are coming to mind in your broker conversations. Um, what would be top of mind that you think brokers should be thinking about in terms of getting in front of clients' needs today?
Sure. In my view, the top three insurable risks that are posing the greatest concern to brokers and clients are cyber, D&O and excess, and I'm kind of lumping them together, and I'll explain why in a second, and property. And D&O, I mean, excuse me, cyber, continues to be, I think, probably the top concern of lots of brokers and clients. And we at AXXL are committed to being the number one cyber insurer in the U.S. So our commitment to that line of business remains very strong. And we're working very closely with clients to help them understand their exposure to ransomware attacks, and trying to help them protect themselves from ransomware, right? Which is probably the thing in cyber that's getting the most attention at the moment. On D&O and excess, the similarity that those two lines of coverage have is that the coverage is available. It's just that the rates are rising, and they've been rising and rising for a good 18 months, 24 months now. And the reason that they're rising is because the security class action lawsuits are continuing, event-driven litigation, and nuclear verdicts that we've been hearing so much about. So it's really a loss-driven event. And on property, property I kind of consider the perennial challenging line of business. It's property has not just become recently a difficult line of business. It's always been a difficult line of business. And we see that with the extreme weather events that have been occurring, and we're in the midst of hurricane season right now. And so those are the three lines that I would say are the top three concerns as far as the insurable risk sides, or risk lines of coverage are concerned.
We've been focused a little bit on, the past year, what's going on now. Let's look ahead to 2022. What are AXA XL's top priorities with the broker community, and what do you hope to accomplish next year?
Sure, and I appreciate that question. And it's a rather easy question for me to answer because our top priorities in 2022, as far as our brokerage community and our clients are concerned, remain unchanged. They are the same as our top priorities have been for quite a while, and that is that we want to get to know our brokers and clients better. We want to understand their issues more intimately, right? And I go back to what I said at the beginning of this interview, which was, the comments I made about payer to partner, is that we really sincerely want to invest time to understand our brokers' portfolios, who the clients are in those portfolios, and what those clients need from their brokers, and try to align ourselves as best as we can where we have products and solutions with those brokers' portfolios. And with our clients, it's really the same thing, is um, to understand them more deeply, and understand how they're trying to manage their risks, and provide. And we want to provide, not just insurance solutions, but other insights and introductions to other partners and technologies that can help them deal with those risks as best as possible in the current environment.
Well, Bob, thank you so much for sharing this time with me. It's been great hearing about what AXA XL has been working on and all the tools and engagement you all are bringing to your broker and client partnerships. I'm very hopeful that we will get to have a chat in person in October. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes.
That's great. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate this time together.
That was Bob Peretti, Chief Distribution Officer for the Americas for AXA XL. Stay tuned for the next in our series, and don't forget to check us out on leadersedge.com.